This is what your gym timeline will look like. Today, we are going to look at the complete gym timeline from 0 years to 8 years. We're going to look at your strength progress, your size progress, motivation, confidence, and what your social life will look like in those 8 years.
Now, obviously, massive disclaimer, this is not exactly what your trajectory will look like. I know you're already typing that in the comments. This is just like general rough idea. If you were to average it out over everyone, this is kind of what it looks like from anecdotal experience and from studies that show muscle gain over certain periods of time. So let's start in the first year. What happens in the first year? Well, most of you have already finished your first year, so you can probably attest to this. Your motivation starts sky high, and then pretty much anyone and everyone I've tried to coach in the gym, it's inevitable, you just wait for it. About 2-3 weeks in, right, they're going super good, they're real motivated, they're like, I've changed my life, and then their motivation drops to an all-time low and they go, shit, this is actually pretty hard. This is the pit, this is where most people will quit. That's how most gyms actually stay afloat. It's just unused gym memberships because people quit after signing up.
But for the guys who get past this motivation dip, your motivation goes back up because you actually start to see results. You can see here at 0.5 years or 6 months, about a year, that's when you start to see some serious results, actually majority of the results. So you become self-motivated, right? Your physique that you look in the mirror every single day becomes the motivating driving factor because you want to then increase it because you now know it's possible. Like, this is weird thing when before you start the gym, you just think like it's not for you. You won't get big from the gym, and then you realize, holy shit, you actually do. Then it gets to an all-time high, and then you kind of hit this like consistent path where motivation comes and goes, but because you have discipline at the core, it's not going to actually affect your gym journey.
Yeah, like going to the gym for me now motivation isn't a factor in it. It's like saying whether you're motivated to brush your teeth. It's not even a sentence that makes sense. Yeah, so obviously this is also the part where you see massive newbie gains, right? The first year, you'll see more progress than the next 2 years, and vice versa. It's a logarithmic graph. Your gains pretty much half every year. I would say your strength skyrockets first, the most, and then your size will sort of catch up as well. It's when that size comes in that's obviously when the motivation comes back in.
And we can also see near the starting point, we haven't really started, confidence is probably at an all-time low. And that's probably the driving factor as to why you actually went to the gym. You weren't confident in your physique, you weren't confident within yourself, so time to make a change.
Yeah, because probably some canon event happened or something bad happened, something negative happened in your life that made you start the gym. Usually people starting the gym, it doesn't happen out of some positive experience. Usually they're fed up with something or they get broken up with or something along those lines. And your confidence is usually shattered from those events, or even just because it's a whole new world you haven't entered. Me personally, I literally worked out at home for like the first 6 months because gyms were just daunting. I was like, I just don't want to do that. It's just, there's so much people. I feel like they're looking at me. That's what everyone thinks when they first join the gym as well. It's like, oh, everyone's staring at me. Yeah. They're going to make fun of me.
No one gives a fuck, man.
Literally no one cares. But that's just in your own head. So confidence is usually pretty low. And then as you can see, as you go along, it's almost a delayed response from your confidence to the gains that you've made because there's a little bit of lag there. And this is what imposter syndrome is. It's when you've made progress, but your brain hasn't really caught up to that yet. I got this massively because I went from like a 3 out of 10 to like, I don't know, maybe a 6 out of 10 within a year. And just the way you get treated in general is just a whole lot different. When you go out, you actually get choosing signals, all these sort of things, and it throws you off because you're just literally not used to it. And then over time, those little events, they start to build your confidence back up and your confidence will start to climb and sort of match the physique that you've built.
A lot of guys think confidence comes first, but it really doesn't. It comes as a byproduct of you getting positively reinforced by society and by people, choosing signals and stuff, what we was talking about. And that's kind of when you realize I'm that fucking guy, and then your confidence just skyrockets.
We also have to talk about social life. Obviously your social life is at an all-time high when you first start the gym. And then about 6 months in, you think you're too good for all your friends and you just start to cut people off, or people simply don't want to hang around you because you're like insufferable to them now because you're just like a gym junkie. And then so yeah, your social circle will probably get smaller. There'll probably be some friends that will start the gym journey with you, or they'll try to start and they'll ask for help. That always happens. And I'd say for the first 3 years also, I have to mention strength is at a pretty linear climb. There are things you can do to change this graph, make things happen sooner rather than later. Like for me, even just supplementing small things like creatine, I had my strength here. I sort of hit a plateau. I couldn't hit 2 plates bench. And then I started taking creatine. It's like my strength actually started climbing again. This is actually a good time to mention the company that I now recommend for creatine is Tasty Gains. Right? These guys reached out to us. We get tons of people reach out to us, and I usually just instantly say no to all sponsorships because I don't want to promote shit products. But these guys are legit. Creatine gummies have gotten huge slack in the community recently because James Smith made a video exposing all these fake companies. But Tasty Gains has third-party testing on the website. If you don't know what creatine does, it pretty much increases strength by up to 33% and can get you an extra 2 to 4 pounds of muscle per year. Also, in terms of the gummies, they're way easier to take than the powder. The powder is literally so annoying, I could never go back. That's the first link in the description, by the way. If you buy a few tubs, you'll get a nice discount.
Okay, so now we get to like the 2 to 2.5 year mark, and this is where all progress kind of just slows the fuck down. You can see here for both your strength and your physique gains, progress is pretty depressing, man. I'm not gonna lie, because your progress pretty much halves every year after the first like year. So it's very slow and you're only making incremental little gains to specific muscle groups, isolating certain lacking areas, but you can definitely still make progress. And this is assuming that your training's actually been good. Okay, if your training's been good from the start, this is what it will look like. But if all of a sudden you finally get coaching, like you get coached by us, or you actually fix up your plan, your progress will probably pick up.
Like, we've had clients that have already been in the gym for 2 years and they said, my strength's not increasing, I've hit a plateau. And then we hop in, we adjust a few little things, we tweak some of the training, some of the diet. Like, one of the guys in our coaching program right now was training for literally like 2 years. Like, we just adjusted a few little things, tweaked a few variables, and now he's literally losing fat and gaining strength at the same time 2 years into training. So, you know, if things weren't right at the start, you could see no gains and then it could spike up 2-3 years in just by fixing some things.
Yeah, this was the same with me and Will. We really made almost no progress the first like year. We only made like a little bit of progress, and then we sort of picked it up and then picked it up again sort of year 2.5 to year 3. And we made a lot of our gains in that period of time.
So yeah, this is probably more just assuming that you've had guidance, because you don't know what you don't know. Most people realistically have a lot of learning to do when they first start, unless they've got some real one-on-one guidance.
If you want to know how you're going on this gym journey in terms of how long you've been going, your split, your training, your diet, go to that second link in the description, get a physique analysis from us. We'll personally review all of your photos. We'll look at your weak points, your strong points, your genetics, your body fat percentage, your shoulder to waist ratio. We analyze literally everything about your physique, including your progress. There's only a few we do every single week because we do spend a lot of time doing it. So there's only a few spots. It's that second link in the description. Go get your physique analyzed.
And in terms of your social life as well, once you get this far into the gym, you start to meet new friends, maybe from the gym. This is when your friend group actually becomes just way more aligned, because you're not friends by circumstance. Now you're friends with the same passion. So I'd actually argue your social life gets better after you've been in the gym for a long time, but there is sort of this chasm where it's a little bit lonely. This is where a lot of people will just adopt like a lone wolf mindset. In terms of your motivation, we mentioned before, at 3 years in, I don't think anyone just randomly stops the gym 3 years in, because it doesn't require motivation and it doesn't even really require discipline. It's just a thing that you do. I think the only reason people drop off from the gym 3 or 4 years in is just due to circumstance, or they just don't care about the physique that much.
And then we get like 6, 7, 8 years in. This is when you're getting pretty close to your natural ceiling. Now, yes, you can still make gains, and like Jeff Nippert is still making some gains 10 years into his gym journey, naturally, of course, but your strength will keep increasing a little bit as well. Like, you still see Lex Little smashing PRs all the time. Your strength will still increase, okay?
Yeah, it's weird. You almost hit a physique ceiling before you hit a strength ceiling, because strength is more of a skill that can be built, especially for powerlifting. Like, you can always tweak things with your form and the way that you perform exercises to get stronger at them. But your physique will almost kind of plateau after 6 or 7 years. Like, the actual visual differences will be next to none. Even if things move on the scale, you might gain a pound of muscle mass. The only difference in your physique after this amount of time is gonna be how lean you are.
So that was the gym timeline. If this is to show you anything, it's that joining the gym is a fucking great idea, because you make a lot of the progress the first year or so in your gym journey, which is nothing. What is the year in terms of the amount of years you're on this earth? Like, it realistically doesn't take any time at all.
Yeah, I mean, and the time passes anyway. I mean, this was a big belief for me, so I'm assuming it's a big belief for most people who haven't started the gym yet, and then it's like, oh, but it just takes so long. I want a 6-pack in a week. It actually doesn't take that long, man. It takes like a year. The time will pass anyway, and I'm fucking 4.5 years in. And I still remember when I started. It doesn't feel like that long ago.
Go get your physique analyzed, and I'll catch yous in the next video.
Peace.